Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Game Show Dota 2 League. I'm your host, LD of Beyond the Summit, and joining me today will be Blaze. For this game, we've got Hellraisers versus Na'Vi. Na'Vi lost their first match, their opening game versus Empire. Hellraisers also lost their opening match. Both teams 0-1 in the group stage thus far. It is a full round robin, Each team will play 5 games, then we move on to the playoffs on day number 3. I believe the bottom 2 teams are eliminated, and it's just single limb on the final day, but not 100% on that. I'll try to double check in between the games and find out from the admins. But yeah, with that being said, draft is well underway, and well, let's get into it. It's a first overall pick, Lycan, given away to the Dire side by Hellraisers. And this is a hype matchup. It's art style going up against his old teammates, Savos, Dendi, Funnick. Exciting to see who's going to get the upper hand. If I had to guess, I'd guess Na'Vi, because art style's team looked a little bit lost in their last game, but well, we'll see if they can turn around here. They go Brew Jakiro, so they get some really good crowd control. Nice heroes to deal with the Lycan, a tanky support, Cyclone, Boulder Toss, lots of control for him. And, well, with that said, Na'Vi go back for a Venomancer. Probably going to be one of their core heroes, as generally when we see this pick, it is not run as a support. And, well, with that being said, Blaze, I've jawed off a lot. How you doing, buddy?
Doing really well, man. I get to wake up and cast some awesome CIS Dota, and historical matchup, as you've said, and yeah, it's gonna be a great day. I mean, obviously they've had some delays and stuff like that, but looking at the format of the Game Show League and the LAN aspect, you got to be pumped about it. Of course, Na'Vi have never fully performed in the group stage. They really shine when it comes down to the playoff bracket, but yeah, I'm still excited to see what these two teams bring, even if it is just going to be kind of that standard push. But even this is not fully what you expect from the push setup. Like, you expect the Lycan, but the Venomancer along with that. Like, it does have Plague Wards, it does have some great damage, but I think they're going to go for a little bit of team fight on top of their kind of standard push.
Yeah, they'll want to have some control. They have 0 stuns, albeit only 2 picks in the draft, but you can tell Hellraisers do ban out the Venge. I like also their bans in general. They banned Skywrath first phase. Love it against Na'Vi because they've been first picking Skywrath. They banned the Venge, which Havost has played a lot. They've also run it as a support for FNG and Vangscore. I think both of these heroes are just... Na'Vi like running them too much. Like, even if you could beat them, it's just let's take them out of their comfort zone is the thought process here. And a somewhat forgotten hero on the Dragon Knight. We saw him a couple of days ago in WEC, I believe. He was running a triple Dragon strat, Dragon Knight plus Jakiro, and it does give you a lot of push power with the poison from the Dragon Knight, the Jakiro's liquid fire, and also tanky against Lycan, has a reliable spammable stun, so I do like his matchup versus these Na'Vi heroes, and I think he's kind of underrated, to be honest. I still think DK is viable, but we just don't see it much with all the Razors and Death Prophets nowadays.
Yeah, most definitely. People like to kind of focus on those heroes that are very popular for their single ultis that can do crazy amounts, but the Elder Dragon form is a bit more subtle, but it does contribute heavily to what Dragon Knight can bring to the table. Like you said, the triple Dragon strat, sometimes some teams add in Viper on top of that for massive damage over time effects. Like, you look like you're walking away from the fight with 50% HP, but then you tick down 2 seconds later. It's just massive magical damage. But yeah, in this case, I guess he's going to be just kind of adding into that push and adding a lot of control, as you mentioned. If he gets maybe like a Blink Dagger, I know it's not the most common build, but you can pursue Lycan even in Shapeshift. Just Blink Stun on top of him, very long duration, and you certainly will get the follow-up. And now, they even have the Searing Chains on top of this. Locking down the Lycan, 522 movement speed or not, he's going nowhere if he is pinned down. But how are they going to actually manage the lanes now is the question. Is it going to be an off-lane Brewmaster, and then sending Ember Spirit to the safe lane with the DK in the mid? Not too sure.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of mobility, good for chasing the Lycan, and also lockdown. Sure, it's not an actual stun, but it gives you a way to catch him and kite him, and against Queen of Pain is pretty nice as well to have that instant snare. Well, not instant, but very close to instant snare. So, yeah, I think these are nice picks for Hellraisers, and actually, considering they've given away Lycan, I'm fairly happy with the draft. Now, that being said, I am a little worried about how they're going to lane against this Queen of Pain mid, as she generally shreds any of these melee heroes 1v1 at the early levels. And looking at the supports for Na'Vi, you don't have the best roaming duo, but more just a lineup that looks to deathball with the Lycan. So if Queen of Pain wins her lane and Na'Vi take a fast tier 1 on the safe lane, that could be pretty rough. And she's going to have Hal damage as well. So whoever goes mid, be it Brew, DK, or Ember, it's going to be a rough lineup. And actually, speaking of that, how are they going to lane this, do you think?
For the side of the Hellraisers?
Yeah, because they've already got
I think it's got to be an
offlane
offlane Brewmaster. I mean, they could go aggro try and safe lane Brewmaster if they feel confident in it. And that would put more pressure on the Lycan and force the supports to stick with him. I think a key aspect of that is that means that the Lycan's wolves won't be as high of a level as quickly in the game. Like, if the supports are constantly forced into try versus try, then Lycan will be splitting his experience frequently. They won't be able to pull as often. So I think that actually might be the way to go, but it's only if they're really confident with Jakiro plus whatever other support they pick up. I kind of like Rubik here because you can steal Blink, you can steal the Plague Wards and Death Wards to prevent the push and to have a team fight. So that's pretty potent, but all the same, I mean, no matter what they go with here, they just need something that's very active in the early game, because this game, if they let Na'Vi run away with it, is not going to be going more than 30 minutes. But we'll have to see. They have a little bit more reserve time to tap into, and they're actually going to go with this Shadow Shaman here. So a little bit of push on their own side. Jakiro, Shadow Shaman, DK, all lending their hands to push, and then, of course, Ember Spirit will be able to really profit from that gold game.
Well, Na'Vi better win these lanes. That's really all I have to say, because they have 0 stuns of any note versus Ember Spirit. Not to mention, Hellraisers have a really good 5-man. So going for the Undying, Na'Vi will play to their strengths, and I think correctly so. They got to win the lanes. They got to hopefully snowball the Queen of Pain into an early Orchid pickup, or else they walk into the mid game against cores like DK, Brew. They can build BKBs and basically be immortal in the fights, and lacking, they do have Hal, I suppose, so some physical damage, but there's still evasion on Brew, there's the Dragonite armor. Yeah, I'm viewing Na'Vi as a win the lanes or lose the game situation for them. And with that, let's introduce our teams. We've got FNG on the Witch Doctor, Havost, Lycan. Dendy will be playing the Queen of Pain. That puts Funnick onto the 3-position Undying, so we'll be getting some farm. And last but not least, Vangskor on the Veno. Just a reminder, guys, this is our 4th match of the day, so we've got another 4 coming up after this one. And with that said, we can go ahead and introduce the Radiant Squad. Hellraisers, you've got Aloha Dance on the Ember Spirit. We have Artstyle playing the Brewmaster. Taking up the reins of the Dragonite will be Yoki. Then Dread onto the Jakiro, well-known CIS streamer. And last but not least, Dubas will be playing the Shadow Shaman. And with that said, Na'Vi, Beatty in the pit. They've got Hal level 1. Looks like they are hoping that HR comes to check Roshan, that they can punish them with a counter kill early on.
Yeah, it would be very difficult for Na'Vi to actually go for a legitimate level 1 Roche. They would be dropping extremely low on their HP, maybe 100 before they'd fall back to Sav. It is possible with things like Voodoo Restoration and the Lycan's Wolves, but in this case, it's just smarter for them to bait, make HR think that there's a possibility, there's a risk of it, and have to commit. If you look at HR's abilities, they don't have really any great scouting tools. The Ice Path maybe to try to see if it'll connect with anybody, but yeah, no, they won't be able to really invade the Roche Pit, and if they kind of just stuck it out, that actually could have been a nice first blood opportunity. So nice little maneuver, but in the end, they're just going to get idea of how the lanes are going to play out, and from there, things will kind of go back to status quo. It looks like Aloha Dance is moving towards the top lane. It would imply that supports are going to follow suit, and we might have a try versus try on our hands, which Undying just thrives in. But as I say that, he might not be on the top lane.
Yeah, HR clearly want to dodge. They do not want to try lane against a Venomancer Undying Witch Doctor with a Shadow Shaman and some melee farmer in the tri lane. So, yeah, I think dodging is quite wise for HR, whether it's just running dual lanes or even just completely dodgy running a tri-lane on the other side of the map. But it seems like Na'Vi will run some dual lanes of their own. So, Brewmaster up against an early double damage on Witch Doctor, and with an Undying here, not going to be the most fun lane. They will have the Ember Spirit top against Lycan, and the nice thing here is that there's no magic damage, so that Flame Guard is going to be a real nuisance for Havost at these early levels.
Yeah, he pretty much just keep him off the lane constantly. I mean, Vangskor can zone and kite a little bit, but he doesn't do any damage himself. Like, he's running Magic Stick, a Clarity, and all he's going to do is just get a couple of Gales off. If, like, they had the Aggressors, if they had really a bunch of follow-through more than just the Lycan Wolves, then that would really mean something. But as it is, it's a no-damage setup skill for a hero that can only right-click. And that means that Aloha Dance is going to be perfectly fine here, as long as he has one support with him. And this 2-1-2 kind of shifts the metagame a little bit here. I guess there'll be more activity on mid and more emphasis there. And actually, we already see that lane getting pretty interesting. 6 and 4 for Dendy's Queen of Pain, so obviously showing some prowess in the mid lane here. But once Yoku gets the bottle, is able to spam out his Breathe Fire a little bit more, he should be able to at least get some good positive CS.
Well, Dendy also has Hal, so this is a really unfair matchup for Yoki. You know, with the early no talisman pickup, Hal damage, like he's hitting for like 90 plus when he has Hal active. That's very difficult for any melee here to lane against. But Dendy might go in for a first blood attempt. He's got the level 2 Shadow Strike. Doesn't want to get stunned under tower. Actually, there is no point in stun though, so maybe he could have forced that. But with the bottle arriving, he'll play it safe, and he will want to get a kill here before the Dragon Knight gets 6. That's where the lane kind of turns against him a little bit.
Yeah, right now his 2 points in Shadow Strike build is all about zoning. It's all about taking advantage of the fact that Yoku is a melee hero. So he's just going to continuously harass him down.
Carrier! It's carrying the bottle! FNG diving deep for this! One more auto attack, he'll get the kill! And it had the bottle as well. Wow. What a disaster for Yoki.
Absolutely game-breaking. Like, the Dragon Knight just lost the lane, not just in CS, but in his heart. Like, he is just downtrodden right now.
And he has no regen either. No tangos. Like, he just had a few early tangos, one for bottle, and now they're going to give up first blood, too. As they easily finish off Artstyle in the bottom lane. Well, it's... MVP. When it rains, it pours, I guess. As they say.
MVP Haste Rune. Funnick and Witch Doctor just going and making things happen across the map. Winning out playing hard, and
it was before the 3-minute mark. Like, there's literally nothing you could do at that point.
Yeah, that is extremely unfortunate, but that's just the risk of bottle crowing, really. The slow courier, and obviously he's just waddling along there, unfortunately. So great movement from FNG, and a very aggressive movement from Dendy. He's got the, like you said, Howl right-click damage. Actually, they're going to use it up top in sync with the Venomous Gale, but they don't want to get too close to that immolation effect, and all Ember's going to have to do is just salve up to pretty much full HP here.
You just look at the position of Na'Vi. Like, even in this bottom dual lane on dual lane, FNG is just waiting for that opening to go in with the Undying. Has the Tombstone up, level 2 Soul Rip online, and as you pointed out, Dendy, very aggressive positioning. Pretty much every lane, they're always looking for these dives, and that's what they need to do. They have to win the lanes, and so far, they're accomplishing it. They have the 3 lead farmers, they have the courier kill, they have the first blood. You couldn't ask for a better start. Like, it's picture perfect so far for Na'Vi.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you had to see a no-boots DK walk all the way back to Fountain to get out of the lane? Like, the Bottle Crow meta is just so prevalent even after the Courier nerf that you just think, okay, well, he's there to stay and get free experience. But now Queen of Pain is almost level 6, and Yoku is at the beginning of level 4. Like, Dendy is absolutely dominating, and it's all thanks to FNG support.
Yeah, Yoki he's getting absolutely wrecked, as you would expect. And don't see that turning around anytime soon. We'll have Dubas and Aloha Dance trying to move through this dire jungle, but now that there's starting to be points and wards, the Gale and Poison Sting are leveled up, it gets a little bit harder for them to force the issue against the Lycan. Not to mention the Wolves are already level 2, soon to be level 3, at which point, that's where I think Na'Vi might be able to find kills. It's end of the day, it's a support Shadow Shaman, and Ember's not going to be able to stand against that right-click for too much longer, so even this top lane, I think, is starting to look a little precarious.
Yeah. And even though this draft doesn't seem like the standard, okay, we just bundle up because we have a Tide ulti or an Enigma ulti, and we get the healing, and we just get a bunch of summons and Nature's Prophet stuff to push type strategy, it's still going to be a death ball strat when it comes down to it. Around like the 12 or 13 minute mark, the Undying really wants to emphasize his early lane dominance. Actually goes for an Orb of Venom on top of these Arcane Boots, but I think the more important aspect is the Magic Stick and the Arcanes. Tons of mana sustainability, wants to hit decay on 2 or 3 targets whenever it's off cooldown, and goes for 2 points in Soul Rip. So he wants to be around a lot of creeps, keep the healing, keep the early game aggression flowing, and they want to take tier 1s. So we won't see it now. The laning phase is going far too favorable for them to shift it up, but in about 5 or 6 minutes, they will want to start grouping as at least 4 heroes.
Top lane. Onto Vangscrow they go. They hold him in position with the shackles, and the return kill will be there. As Savos begins to dive, he has to be careful not to overextend in this engagement. We'll end up backing off, and we'll make his way out safely, but a little bit too aggressive there on the Venomancer. Just got caught near the tower, and nice Searing Chains to bring him down. Honestly, I feel like HR are the kind of lineup that can lose the lanes, though. As long as they don't lose too horribly.
Sure.
To me, they have the mid-game on lock if it's an even game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, they have to just turtle it up, and if they can pretty much win a single fight and halt the single push this game, then they're going to be pulling far ahead by default. But Yeah, it's. I don't think that Navi are going to give them many openings for that. Right now, HR, they get a great kill on top, and it shows one weakness of FNG's draft. The support Venomancer. Kind of experience dependent, decently item dependent because he is very squishy, and yeah, he just doesn't have the great mana pool to support his ultimate early on. So we'll see Vanscore not really finding a great place to be. He thought maybe he could get a kill on Yoko on mid. Gonna rotate to help out Havost up top, but as you mentioned, that's Flame Guard. It's just impenetrable, and as such, even though the Ember Spirit has very low armor, he's still very confident in being able to go forward and deal a lot of damage.
They're not going to bring Art Style in. He'll be in the front here. Vainscore does have a Gale ready, so don't see them getting this kill. And Art Style, bit of waste of time from him. They'll leave the bottom lane alone for Dread, and do they really try to push here? No wards up yet. Canada doesn't have split. It seems a bit premature from HR to force the issue.
Yeah, I mean, they can just drop Plague wards down under the tower, and we're going to see actually more damage go down to the bottom tier 1 now that Dread's the only one defending. Like, they could actually rotate maybe the Lycan and send him down bottom, and they could just destroy the tier 1 4 times faster than HR could take the top.
They do have a point of Fire Remnant now, though, and Aloha Dance is at 6, and Split is coming soon, so now that he's made the rotation top, I think you gotta stay here and just look for the chains to kill off of Ost.
Oh, bottom, the Tombstone will come out. Only 2 zombies connecting, though, so I think Dread will be perfectly fine. But
top lane onto Havost. They went in for the Searing Chain Sleight of Fist combo, but didn't actually find the chains. Now Vangscore trying to retreat out from here. This will force in the rotation from Dendi. Sees Dubas trying to retreat out. The Howl damage is enough.
Wow!
One more right click. Gets the kill. Dread still holding that line bottom. Even going back in on Havost, or on Funnick, but with the heal coming out from Soul Rip, Dread is going to be forced to TP out of this. All the way back to the base, in fact. He will end up making his way out, but like you mentioned, towers are dropping quickly, and much needed kill there for Navi as HR were starting to flex their muscles a little bit. Despite the awful start, like I still, like you said, one good fight. That's really all it takes for them.
Yoko gets the rune to get it done, really. He gets this double damage rune here, and has the Elder Dragon form active. He's
no mana for stun.
Basic right click in, so he's not going to be going in for a kill right now, but if he can bottle that for 2 minutes, wait for his teammates to find an opening where they can synergize with him, that'll be great. Aloha Dance gets the Searing Chains onto Funnick here on the bottom, but he'll just decay it up, tank through it, and walk away.
In fact, they might turn on him. He needs backup quick, fast, and in a hurry. There's no Brewmaster split. Brewmaster not even joining the lane yet. It's up to Dread to turn this. The Dual Breath completely off the mark. And Aloha Dance, will he tick down to the poison? He's got stick charges here, so he's fine.
But pressure all the way off the map. This laning phase ended really quickly. Yoko already pops off the double damage rune, but they don't have like the Mass Serpent wards to guarantee this tower, so that most of the time on that will just go to nothing. And yeah, now I think Navi are going to be starting to group up in groups of 3, kind of get this squad-based movement across the map, and we'll be seeing some heavy push. Already Havost has his Vladimir's going to be looking for the medallion and looking to make things happen.
Yeah, and that's the key. You're on Dire side, you have Lycan, you want to take that Roche as early as possible. They do stun Dendi mid lane, then they hold him in position with the shackles, but I don't think they have the follow-up for this. They'll hex him, they could maybe one more... No, he blinks to the high ground, he actually turns and gets off an auto attack, a fleeting parry. Boy, that was intense from Dendi, really playing that one as close to the best as possible. This will create space for Havost, though, in the pit. And as Roshan claps, doing pretty much nothing to the Wolves. The attempt continues in earnest. Dendi will join the fray. You've got FNG ready with the level 2 Voodoo Restoration, and it looks like Navi will take the Roche. Nobody in HR in position to contest.
Yeah, the nice little move by Dendi. He put the bottle on the TPing in FNG, so he got the refill, as well Witch Doctor used the mana sustain from the fountain to not only give a bottle sip, but also give the Voodoo Restoration heal to Dendi. So he essentially went from being like 1 hit from death to being full HP, and they take that roast with ease. So now the Death Ball begins. They have the Aegis. Looks like Avos will farm up 1 set of Ancients and then join his teammates. First, they attempt on Yoku's life.
Oh, that Witch Doctor is not cooperating. It's only hitting illusions during this time, and Yoki ends up going down regardless, but yeah, that was not hitting the right unit for pretty much the entirety of the ultimate.
I think it was in range. He just didn't micro it properly, so unfortunately he just kept hitting the
closest unit, yeah.
Yeah, and Dendi had to use the Sonic Wave, but still diving. Oh, this is bad.
Into the Macro Pyre, but that's canceled by a nice bouncing cask, and actually Dendi looks to go a bit further in here. He's got a Scream cooling down in 3. He wants Dubas. Dread can't really keep him safe. In fact, he scatters to the right. Maybe he denies himself to neutral. It's going to be close. No, just a nick of time. Dendi secures the kill. And this is where you really want to see them fighting as a squad, but they're just letting this Creed of Pain pick them apart. Another Shadow Strike. This should probably be Dread's death. 2 more right clicks. Maybe won't get it with the slow move speed there as he retreats out successfully. But still the damage done. Favos takes the tower bottom and they just keep the pressure up. Ember zipping in now. Triple Sleight of Fist. Searing Chain's combination. Pretty good initiation, but then the heals. The mech is available soon. And, well, actually, sorry, was used there, but will become F cooldown. And with Magic Wands, they all get out pretty safely.
Yeah, but they want to force the issue now while the mech is on cooldown, while they're kind of lacking the mana pool on Dendi. So they're going to go in, put some damage to the tower, and the Corrosive Breath will take it to deny range.
Tower denies. Big plays. Big plays
by Wolves!
Yeah, very safe movement. And now FNG popping the zoning ultimate. He might force out a Primal's Blade. Yeah, Artstyle's got to use this. He doesn't have a choice. Macropie is there, but, well, just ignore it. Havos charges directly past it. Starts focusing the Fire Panda, then gets Boulder Toss first trouble, while Yoki also retreats. Takes a Shadow Strike to the dome, and now with the Gale bouncing through, the cast there as well. Na'Vi just trying to run HR over before they can hit critical mass in the mid-game. They'll lose Artstyle after the split ends. 3 have fallen. They chase for more. They want this 4th kill in Aloha Dance. He doesn't have a Remnant out. He will have chained soon, but the zombies continue to tick him down. Cast bouncing. Medallion there, and 1 more right click. Down he goes. They actually ended up losing 4 in that fight.
What a disaster. Not even getting the tower hit. Those little wolves are actually able to kill it off with their damage there. They have like 66 damage. Up against Fortified, that's very minimal, but Avos times it right, and they get the tower deny, they get the push in, and they're really making use of this early game dominance. Funnick is playing Undying, a hero that tapers really hard, but for right now, he is in his prime. They're actually going to find Artstyle without a split, without a TP. He's going down.
Dendi with the double damage.
These two.
Yeah,
these two
oh no. Oh no. Aloha Dance, please. Oh, this is not where you want to be, my friend. He's got bottle charge. It's not going to matter. He's taking too much damage. We'll go down again. It didn't hit the eject button in time, basically. That's all she wrote. This one's falling apart right now for HR. Artstyle looks like he's far from getting revenge on his old teammates. He's close to losing yet another game in Gameshow League. This is rough.
Well, one of them had to put some points on the board, but Na'Vi are doing it in style right now. There's still some chance for Hellraisers to come back, but they have to just execute picture perfectly, play extremely defensively, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Yeah, Blink and Initiation following up on the Dread. They'll bring down 2 here quickly. The Tombstone's causing real problems for HR in this fight. And then another great Death Ward. Despite all the stuns, these Death Wards seem to be going off for full duration almost every time. The Rasta Ward's trying to hold them out, but they get the triple kill. Easily claimed by Havos Lycan, and now they'll look for the tier 2 top. This is almost out of reach at this point. 15k gold against a Dire Lycan. He'll have his Necro 3 soon.
I can't believe that Dendi lived there. He dropped down to 50 HP inside Mass Serpent Wards, getting stunned out by the Dragon Tail, but the mech, the Soul Rip, the Voodoo Restoration, all used to keep him alive, and he just blinks out and gets a regen rune. Like, of all the runes to get at this point in the game, just this infinite sustained strat. They could just go in continuously, take every tier 2, and what can HR do without the Mass Serpent Wards to prevent it? The Primal Split's awesome, but it does have its limitations, and right now they're too greedy, with the Ember Spirit not being online, and the Dragonite having been so shut down in the laning phase.
And they have no Blink on Artstyle. He doesn't even have Blink, and already the enemy Queen of Pain for Dendi has an Orchid. It couldn't be worse. And with that Orchid chasing out on Aloha Dance, but doesn't have the lockdown to finish him off, Dread will drop a decent ultimate, still just Havos charges through it. He runs up onto the high ground, tries to finish off Dread. He gets held in position by Searing Chains. This will drop him low, but the Necro 3 finishes the job. Now hunting for more. Havos is going full Havos mode, diving the tier 4s. Four to the tier 4s. How appropriate, how fitting. And they'll lose more on the other side of the engagement. That's 3 have fallen. 4 now with that kill, and now looking for Yogi. This will be a team wipe. Yoki's gonna fall, and Na'Vi, they're back, baby. They'll take a team wipe. 20 to 1. What a beatdown.
Oh my gosh, nah.
First blood, courier kill. Lost their other lanes. I mean, it was like over from the 5-minute mark, it felt, without a great team fight, and they just never found one.
Exactly, and the Na'Vi draft just perfectly suited this snowball aggression and the sustain with it. Like, you could see HR were just trying to hold it, and against a normal lineup, they would have been able to do, by and large, plenty of damage to bring down a number of kills instead of just the one. But all those freaking heals, Undying is literally just that with his skill set. 3-0 and 14, Funnick, the big man walking around, and of course, Dendi with 8-0-6 on the Queen of Pain.
You know, they tried to stop this too, Blaze. They banned the Scarith Mage, they banned the Venge. These are like the, right now, Navi's go-to aggressive heroes, but they gave away a Dire Lycan, and Navi had a good start. That's always going to be hard to deal with. Still, I thought HR's draft was fine on paper, but yeah, the courier death and I mean, nothing went right for this team. So, with that being said, guys, that wraps up our 4th match of the day. We've got 4 more games coming your way. You're watching the Game Show Dota 2 League. And next up, let's see, what are we going to have? We will have Empire versus NVMI, then Hellraisers versus Virtus Pro, Virtus Pro versus NVMI, and we round the day off with one more Navi match. Navi versus VP. Thank you for tuning in to watch the Game Show League. I'm LD. He's Blaze. You can follow him at Blaze Casting. Myself at LD Dota. We will return for our 5th match of the day. Stay tuned.